So welcome everyone to this beautiful session for world peace with Mother Mary and Princess Diana. I'm Marcia McMahon, and I've been a medium channel for Diana for 24 years now. And this work has been verified by other famous mediums around the world. And then I've been working with Mother Mary, had the honor of working with her too, as of 20 years. So I'm very glad to still be honored to receive these messages. And with all channeling, take what resonates with you and just leave the rest for another time. They're all commenting on world affairs and what's going on in the world of, war and peace, and sending peaceful vibes out to all of the war-torn countries. And we'll do a peace meditation briefly at the end of each message. And I find I have to say that this work is getting harder for me because I've done this work with Diana since 2002, when I began reaching diplomats and presidents behind the scenes, albeit she put me up to that. And I have published Princess Diana's Message of Peace, and then With Love from Diana, Queen of Hearts. And then she asked me for one final book, which would be a larger book of all her collected messages from Spirit for the last 25 years with my paintings. I'm a painter too. So I know you guys know me, but I'm going to post this YouTube. So welcome all to the YouTube channel, Marcia McMahon. And this is also my Art of Diana. So I've been on her project for a quarter of a century. That's just amazing when I think about it. And I'm not saying this to brag at all. I'm very humble, but I'm saying this that I've been committed to peace for a long time, and it's seems to be getting harder for a breakthrough, for anything to happen in the Middle East or the Ukraine. But we'll tune in to what Mother Mary has to say today. And if you would just relax and unwind and see this as an opportunity to connect with the Blessed Mother, whether you're Protestant, Catholic, or whatever, non-denominational, or any religion at all is fine. Most religions honor Mother Mary. I used to be a Catholic, but I gave that up in my early 20s. So anyway, without further hesitation, this was received on her anniversary of her Dormition, or your Ascension Day, whichever way you tend to think of Mother Mary. So I'm calling in the presence of Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene and Jeshua, and wishing you light to spread around the world for the sake of Russia and Ukraine today. I know you have previously warned me about years ago that the Russia-Ukraine is all intertwined with Putin, of course. So it is I, your mother, Mary, and my child of light. I am always looking down upon you and everyone in the world and seeing the suffering there and wanting to immediately alleviate it. As you know, I work with Princess Diana and Mary Magdalene and many others of my beautiful friends, and I am in the highest vibration of love and peace for the planet. I have been working on Russia's situation and the continuing warfare to influence the minds and hearts of the Russian people to somehow end it. And I will give you a prophecy from my heart to yours. We feel that the Russian leader is very misled in his aggression on Ukraine, and it will fail ultimately. And I ask you to have faith that a new leader will emerge once the leader of Russia upon his death. And once this happens, there will be a peace treaty drawn up for Ukraine. So your prayers have not gone on in vain. And we can all pray for the meeting between Putin and Trump, but I don't think Putin is ready for any peace. And Trump sees it as a deal which Ukraine will not agree to. And frankly, there is no reason for Ukraine to give over more territory uh, at all. When Crimea was seized in 2014 and further on down the road, many other territories have now been seized in the eastern provinces. And I'll not go into the details, but Ukraine simply doesn't want to give up the territory that has been taken over by Russia. And so that aid would continue. We just ask for aid in the way of first aid, food, and whatever is needed to spare more suffering in terms of military aid for Zelensky and Ukraine. Not that I really support military, aid, but this is necessary in their defense. We very much for everyone to have peace. In this case, we're very much standing for the underdog of Ukraine, who has been viciously attacked amidst many false promises and lies of the little man Putin. We shall see if there is a second meeting in an ironing out of an agreement with Russia, Zelensky, Putin, etc. But I tell you that Putin will not stay much longer in power, and I do not wish to give further information on that or to assert any other or name any other possible successor at this time. But things will change, and that is my feeling. And he is not popular anymore, and his health is going down. Now, on to the troubles of the world with Israeli and Palestinian dilemma. I wish you all to pray for peace for both countries, Israel and Palestine, for it's still possible to gain, to have that. But again, the leadership is lacking in Netanyahu and also in the territory of the Palestinians, for they need competent leadership that is moderate, such as the PLO. A complete takeover of Gaza would be, to say the least, devastating. So she already saw that that was coming. So I encourage you all to make devotional prayer a priority, for this world needs it now. And on to the United States now. We see the devastating and horrific capture of innocent civilians who have committed no crimes being put into camps and then either deported or left to wallow in a prison cell or to work for nothing. And we think this is an attempt at slavery and free labor, as we see it in the United States. The once great shining city on the hill, as your Ronald Reagan called it, has come down on all freedoms. Freedom to assemble, freedom of speech, freedom of seeking asylum. And this, we say, is an outright disgrace. We ask the United States for pray for those that do not agree with them politically, but to behave in an emotionally controlled fashion and have dialogue about these most important issues, because your freedoms are fading fast. I assure you, though, there will be political change in the upcoming midterms, and so do not lose hope. Much will be revealed about the horrors of the Epstein files, and in the fall will have a direct impact on the outcomes in the elections. And there will be demonstrations for which Trump wants to police every city in the United States, so they cannot hold freedom of assembly. It is a disaster what is happening to your country under him, and we wish all to pray for unity and peace, that there will be a new era of American values and freedoms, values resurging in the next year or so, that will put an end to the madness. I am your Mother Mary, and I bless you today with my rose. And if you are Catholic and you wish to say a rosary or a non-denominational rosary for your own intentions, it is a powerful tool of meditation. And I send on my rose of healing to those who connect to me and ask for my healing in my name. So if you would all just receive Mother Mary's healing from her rose right now. You may close your eyes, ask for any special healing prayer silently to yourself or out loud later. We will have a share later with healing. So these are from my garden. I have a lovely rose garden that keeps on producing all these gorgeous red roses. And some people say the rosary. I wanted to share my rosary, which I don't often share. Usually I just hold it with an intention. But I got this rosary at Bethlehem in Israel many years ago in the Palestinian territories with the Palestinian Christian woman who was working for peace with the Jewish woman. And so it has very fond memories. And we ate at the Bethlehem restaurant. And then she took me later. I bought this at the Bethlehem wood shop. They have it right near where the shepherds sang. They have a little wooden collection of figurines and so on. But I just love this the most because it's so very simple. And it has the vibrations of the land that come along with it. So I used to do this with Kimberly Meredith a little bit, but I really can't get back into it. But it is a powerful form of prayer if you were to wander into it and experiment with it. I found many prayers being answered almost immediately, or just meditative states for world peace or whatever. So let's again go into the rose energy, and I'm sending it out with the Master Reiki symbol for whatever your needs are today. I know there are a lot of needs for people these days. And I myself am finding this work very hard to live up to my calling. And I find it's a little bit depressing not seeing progress and seeing the outlandish things that are happening to people right in the United States, but most especially the heartbreak of Gaza and the Ukraine. So we send out these roses for the sake of peace for the world, and imagine that Mother Mary's essence and vibration is going out to these troubled areas, and Princess Diana's lovely vibration of healing and solace is going out to these areas of need for the people. And then I will turn to Diana's message now. So pardon me that these are a little bit longer than normal, but their anniversaries happen to fall in the same month, Mother Mary being the 15th of August, and Diana, this is her 28th anniversary message channeled from me. And her anniversary is the 31st, as you will, most all of you remember how dramatic that was. So I will proceed, and I'm calling in the presence of Diana now. And in the angelic light, Archangel Michael guarding over the session with light. We've been calling for days, Diana says, but the time has not been right until just now, so that you are up on all the world affairs. My day of remembrance is coming this month, and I wish to thank all of the listeners and readers of my books over the years for your book and your wonderful work on the peace process in the Middle East. It is unlike any, and it has never really been heard much before. It has been heard and revered by many of your US presidents and diplomats, and many the world over, my sons included. But that's being said, we have people in power in a number of countries. They are dead set against peace. And until Netanyahu regime changes its mind and the occupation of Gaza, we will not, unfortunately, see relief for the suffering people of the Gaza and the Palestinian statehood. I do have diplomatic solutions that could possibly influence a solution for this. And for me to see the continuing and endless suffering of the Palestinians, knowing I provided a solution 20 some years ago through Marcia that did reach presidents, I am so brokenhearted to see this. However, I am receiving many of the Palestinian children on a daily basis, and we have a new wing in my castle that houses the children, and Dodi takes care of the Muslim children. I also have comment on King Charles and Prince Harry, as well as Prince William and their respective families. I do, of course, send all my love to all with the request that they reunite, for the revelations that are about to unfold or have unfolded regarding my death will be so shocking that they will need mutual support. It has not been made public quite yet, but it is far more far-reaching and detailed than anyone could possibly imagine. And I am pleased to see that the many nations in Europe have begun to withdraw funding from Israel, and considering the rapidly declining humanitarian disaster there, which some have called a genocide. And I would say that is an apt description of the horrible suffering and starvation and bombing of innocent civilians while grabbing their food. Marcia, it is heartbreaking to say the least. I broke down in tears and cried when I saw the little boy on the news receiving a bag of rice, and he kissed the soldier. And then another soldier shot him. If these were US forces, by the way, not Israeli. So it really needs to be investigated. Diana, it appears that leader Netanyahu is facing war criminal charges in The Hague and elsewhere, and at some point or other, I think he will have to ask to be resigned, because even the families of the hostages are calling out for the release and for the famine, which is getting worse, and they are losing their loved ones. I do not take sides. I am not pro-Palestinian, nor am I pro-Israel. I am pro-peace, and I've always said all along through my channel, Marcia, but the solution is the two-state solution. And this got through in 2002, but here we sit some 20 odd years later with nothing being done and no progress at all on the Palestinian statehood. Obviously, Hamas is controlling, or was controlling, Gaza, and many of them have been eliminated, but you can't keep killing everyone else alongside them, because then it does become a genocide, which is what the Irish Republic has called it, and so many other European nations. They're all threatening to recognize Palestine as a legitimate state. Obviously, the PLO are a more moderate organization that believes in no violence and should be the leader of this new territory. They should consolidate all their power and make sure that Hamas is not getting into the food or the humanitarian aid. That being harder than anything to do, we still see a possibility of a ceasefire for the moment. Ideally, the creation of the new Palestinian state, once the new person, whoever that would be elected for them, gets into power, if he does manage to get a ceasefire, Netanyahu will not negotiate a ceasefire, then perhaps the PLO and other Arab states could be assigned peacekeepers, and the Palestinians return to their business of rebuilding their homes. It would be great if the United States and Israel could help in rebuilding that impoverished nation. But now we understand there's 80% widespread destruction and more than 60,000 dead. It is a complete tragedy. I see the dying coming over here, and I comfort them when they arrive. The whole situation is a shambles, and it breaks my heart to speak of it. And I know people don't like to hear about these tragedies or read about them or see them on their TV. But I step in where angels fear to tread, as I did with my landmines campaign. And you can see only by being the agent of change that you want to see, can you really effectively change the world for the better. And that, my friend, is why I was taken out so young. It was because I was reaching out to the landmine victims, the victims of war in Bosnia-Herzegovina. I was about to launch a campaign in Palestinian territory, and this word got out. So this very much confirms our work with Marcia for 24 years now. And you've been an amazing voice for peace on your part of the world. and you've lived up to your end of the bargain. But we can't control what world leaders do. It is high time that you wrote your final book with me and included the original book with updated messages, new paintings, etc. I know it's a daunting project. You could have done it in a summer with Penguin, but it would have eliminated all the other activities of the summer. But you shall do it in winter and shall be a success, a signature trademark book, which will be well known. So I want all of you now to receive my rose healing. So if you want to come back on live, that's fine. Just keep yourself muted until we have our prayer and Reiki share at the end. Thank you, Diana. So again, she works with the rose energy just as Mother Mary does. And she was the mother of Mother Mary in a past life with Jesus. So she's an old soul too. So she's sending out, this is Diana sending out the rose energy to work on your heart and any other area that you need healing at this time. So if you want to place your hands gently on your heart or your head, as in the case of Phyllis, we pray for healing for her throat. And we pray for others on this call for abundance and change and healing. And I would like you all to just go into a peaceful state, she's saying, where I send out my rose energy of healing to the world. So imagine the rose energy filling your heart with peace and bliss into the divine feminine energy of which I embody. As an angel now, an ascended master, I assure you that this is Diana, sending your heart comfort and love. And please receive this energy with all the angelic stream behind me. And then when you feel you have received it, you may place your hands outward to the world and think of any other areas that need your peace and your healing and your voice, whether it be a friend or a country. We've mentioned the countries that need the peace and healing, but I'd like to include America in this as well, she says, for unity. So we send peace to the world, and in your presence, in your heart, know that I am ascended master now. And I worked with the Virgin Mary some 2,000 years ago and with Jesus. And I would like to comment personally about my sons. So just rest a moment in that glorious rose energy. Take another deep breath or two and feel the healing penetrate. And if you're Reiki attuned, you can send out healing vibrations to everyone on the call. Use the symbols or just the rose, matters not. And another deep breath as you relax into this moment of sacred grace with Diana and Mother Mary. And now she would like to bring forth the rest of her message. So I would like to comment personally how very proud I am of my son William and daughter-in-law Catherine. Wills will soon become king and she will soon become queen, and it will be a reign like no other could possibly imagine. Some may even call it Camelot revisited. In time, there will be many issues solved in Britain. They will do so much for the people, for mental health, for homeless, and so many other plagued in Western nations. I will be guiding William, and of course, always guiding Harry. I love them both so much, and it would be one divine wish that my two sons reunite and exercise the opportunity to show forgiveness so that the grandchildren and the cousins can get to know one another and be one happy family and become friends. For it's possible that William will want to strip Meghan and Harry of their royal titles, but I don't think Charles will allow it, and they're rightfully entitled to it. So I think that they have a right to deprive them of their titles, and I'm totally against this. it would be long-term, William, where if he were to make this wrong turn and deprive Harry of his rightful inheritance and his yearning, his true yearning to enter back into the UK and serve alongside William as a support, should something happen to Catherine, though I don't see that happening right away, he will be needing support and the humor that Harry and only Harry can provide. It's so true. So we pray and send healing to the two brothers today for that to happen. And also for Charles and his health. And also, I'm asking here, anything to offer on Charles or his health, Diana, or anything we wanted to mention. Well, of course, I wish Charles all the best in his healing and health. And we ask for prayers for Charles, but I don't see him completely healing. It is his karma to experience this because of the way he treated others and myself. And I'll say no more. I only wish him well, and we can pray for him that he will see fit to reunite with Harry. So that would be a glorious day, and it would warm my heart so much. As the Queen of Hearts, I'm always for love, family love. I have for every reason not to comment on Camilla, but the Queen may have her say later in this message. I didn't hear from the Queen in this particular message. I wish I could be here for my sons to watch my grandchildren grow up. I am ever around them both, and I'm aware that they think of me as their fairy godmother, grandmother. I want so much for the cousins to know themselves, and I think it would be very grand reunion. Why not at William's coronation or perhaps the funeral of my beloved Charles? I'm doing a lot of work on the side with Mother Teresa and Dodie. I still take the children that are crossing over daily, many of whom are being lost in Gaza and Ukraine. So there is a wing for Muslim children at my home, as well as a wing for other children that are the victims of war. Diana has a castle with Dodie on the other side. And there's more to it in James's work, thestarstillshine.com. So so far as I know you're trying to help all the orphanages that you can, but she's talking to me. Sorry, this is Diana speaking again. So far as I know, you're trying to help all the African orphanages, but you're personally not responsible for helping all these African orphanages. I know you would give everything you had to help these people, but it is really the government's responsibility and the localities that need to help them much more. And the Trump administration has cut off the USA, which is entirely tragic. As for American democracy, I feel that your rights are slowly eroding faster and faster, and we will see the need to perhaps see what the results are with the Epstein investigation. I do feel this will be slightly covered up, but I also feel that there are others stepping forward who were involved with Trump, who know the truth, and the result of that investigation will come as an utter surprise, and many names will be revealed, including that of your President Trump. I have nothing good to say about his administration, where they have taken away democratic rights of your American people, and they're continuing to erode by arresting innocent migrants, and who have been here 20 and 30 years with successful businesses. It is a disgrace, and they're trying to upset and sway the next election, but they don't have the benefit of Elon Musk this time, so I think they'll succeed. In fact, it is my sincere hope that the Democrats will be successful in their election in 2026 and take back the House and Senate. If that were to happen, there would almost certainly be an impeachment and the removal from office. Oh, this is my say and my feeling. This is not Marcia's opinion particularly. I want to close with the rose meditation again today. And I would like you to hold the rose up again and pray for Ukraine and pray for peace. and a solution in all countries with the upcoming meeting with Putin and Trump, which already happened. And then to send out those rays of peace and love and non-judgment from all the parties. So it is I, Diana, England's Rose and Princess of Peace for the nations, and I will still be guiding you always. Much love. So again, receive the rose healing today. And I'm going to thank all of my YouTube listeners and subscribers and ask you if you like the work to please subscribe